Hello folks, Gappy here, and I'm definitely not mad because I haven't got to play the build version of Hades 2. This is some fucking shit, man. So, today, we are talking about one of my favorite games of all time, which is... And I figured out it would be a fantastic time to do it, since, you know, Hades 2 is just right around the corner and we already have gameplay of it. So, that's what I'm gonna be doing. And oh boy, how I love this game. Like, I really do. And when I say this game is one of my favorites of all time, I'm not joking. I've spent like hours, like hundreds of hours playing this game. I really love it. Hades, the game, is a roguelike game about escaping Hades, the place. You play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, the Greek god, who is in a bit of a rebellious phase at the moment. In order to do the whole escaping thing, our boy Zag reaches out to the gods of Olympus, who bestow upon him various blessings and boons to aid him in his fight. That's where the roguelike element comes in. The way those blessings work is by altering the properties of your basic attack, special weapon skill, dash, and your shot, which is a cool little ranged ability you have. They can also give you some special passive effects and a calling, which is a flashy ultimate skill, which calls upon the aid of the god who gave you said calling. Each god has a specific type of blessing that substantially changes the way you play. Ares, my favorite, is about summoning blade tornadoes and applying damnation to your enemies, which is a big delayed chunk of damage after hit. Dionysus makes your enemies drunk, taking damage over time.
Sure is dark there, Zag. I hope you're hanging in there yet.
Artemis is all about critical hits. Zeus is about hitting groups of enemies with lightning, and so on. You can of course mix and match these blessings to make things a lot more interesting. Each run consists of you trying to escape Hades while acquiring these blessings to make yourself be stronger. If you die, you go back to square one and you lose the blessings. However, unlike most roguelikes, every run is meaningful to the story progression of the game, regardless of it being a success or a failure. That makes it feel like the time you spent on a failed run wasn't completely for nothing. That, and the goodies you keep after finishing a run that can be used for permanent upgrades and the like. That was a very bare bones explanation of how the games work, but bear with me for a second, we're gonna get in deep. I just, need to do a little bit of a setup.
You did pretty well that time.
Let's go! Let's go, lesbians, let's go!
So your journey to get the f*** out of here starts in Tartarus, the deepest and lowest area of Hades, if you disregard the other one. Here, you will find the wretched Shades, which are the souls of criminals. These guys are your basic enemies that will get you introduced to the combat of the game. Their attacks are predictable and straightforward, making it for a perfect introduction to the game's combat mechanics. They're not very challenging, but they can give you some trouble from time to time, especially those big hands that stun you. The real challenge begins once you reach the final room of Tartarus, where you will meet her.
その間、鍵穴に目を近づけるのはいけないことでしょうか。
Up for another fight, I say.
Nice!
Megaera of the Fury Sisters is the first major boss of Hades, and she is bound to give you a tough time on your first run. But let's be real here, this lady could give me a tough time any day of the week and I still think I'm sorry. Meg is in the game to remind you that Hades is an absolute bullet hell. Insane projectile span, fast movement and minion summoning makes this fight an absolute tester to any new Hades player. She is also very pretty. That is irrelevant. Focus! The general tip for beating this fight at first is to stay patient and observe her attack patterns. Stay on your toes, strike fast and true, and victory shall be yours.
Nice seeing you.
Congratulations, you did it. You beat the tutorial. But don't be feeling yourself though. Now the real challenge begins. Welcome to Asphodel. It's quite hot in here, and everything sucks.
This place has definitely seen better days. Or nights.
In this lovely, lovely place, you will be fighting against the Bloodlust, which are pretty much skeletons and the like. Me and the boys generally call this place the Bone Zone, if you get what I mean. The enemies in this area will start to get a little funky, with some of them dropping explosives on death, and god damn it, I got barged again.
Help! Help me!
As I was saying, the enemies in this area will start to get a little funky, with some of them dropping explosives on death, jumping around like madmen, and generally not being very nice. The situational awareness needed to face these guys is very high, and it gets worse when you get to the boss of the area. The Linnaean Bone Hydra.
May I say, you look lovely this day or night, Lenny.
This right here is the boss that will push your attention span to the limit, with every head having its own unique projectile, or even the ability to summon minions to ruin your day. The boss is also RNG based, so you never know which header you're gonna get. Pay attention to your surroundings, watch the head's movement, and you're sure to get that bastard reduced to dust in no time.
Enough.
Woo! Well done! Now, we've finally reached the upper echelons of the underworld. Welcome to Elysium. Oh, a fishing spot!
Point that. It's a sign there.
This right here is a verdant paradise where heroes are honored and all of their desires fulfilled, which is very good for them, but not for you. They generally want blood. Yours, in fact. This is the place where all the skills you've acquired up to this point are going to be tested, for here you shall face the exalted, tried and tested warriors of old days that seek to relieve the glory days in brutal battle. No better moment to do it when the son of the god of the underworld comes walking around. These enemies are ruthless. Their attacks are as varied and as fast as yours, blocking blows with shields, interrupting your combos, sniping you across the entire map. These dudes do not want to know the meaning of defeat ever again. It's time to teach them. Also, they will turn into little souls upon death and will try to get their weapons back. Stopping them is your main priority, since they return to full power if they do. Also, we need to stop talking about the gameplay for 1 second just to appreciate how awesome the music in this game is.
I accept all challengers. No prior notice necessary.
Someone cooked here.
Darren Korb was asked to do a lunch, and instead he made a feast. There is no track in this game that is objectively bad. Every single thing just slaps so goddamn hard. It's not even true. Why would you do this? Like, why would you make such a banger theme for everything? Upon reaching the edge of Elysium, after fighting the hordes of Greece's finest, you reach the Colosseum, in which you fight the greatest champion of all. Unfortunately, Hercules was not available, so you're getting King Theseus instead.
You return at your peril, Hellspawn. You'll get no quarter here.
I fucking hate Theseus. Yeah, in this fight, you're getting double teamed, because Theseus is not capable of fighting his own battles, the little bitch baby. The script is telling me to draw a comparison between Ornstein's mode from Dark Souls, but I think that has been done before. I think it's best if you just, skip that part. This fight seems very tough at first because of the numerical advantage, but if you stop to see the enemy's moves, they have very simple patterns. Asterius either swings or charges at you depending on the distance. He'll try to rush you down while Theseus stays at a distance, throwing spears and spinning away if you get close. My best strategy has been to focus on Asterius, since Theseus is pretty much defenseless without him. Once Asterius is gone, you're 100% free to punch Theseus in his dumb face.
to my greatest fan.
And just like that, you got out of hell. What? You're out of hell. You got it. Oh, that. Okay, that makes sense. Don't worry about it. Cerberus is such a good boy that you actually don't have to fight him. You just have to search for conveniently placed snacks in the Temple of Styx. Unfortunately, that process is completely RNG based, so you're gonna have to go into the many sections of the labyrinth to try and find it, getting extra rewards for every section completed. That is no easy feat, however. This area has some of the nastiest enemies in the entire game, and the poison mechanic is completely infuriating, taking whole chunks of your health if you're not careful. The way to defeat the poison is to run as fast as you can to the nearest, I'm gonna be real, Chief, I don't know what that thing is. This right here is honestly my biggest gripe with the gameplay, because this area forces you to stop the fast-paced combat to take a sippy. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, it's just get me.
Hey, a satyr sack already.
Thus has the prince again persuaded fearsome Cerberus to get out of his way.
I owe you one, boy.
After you're done with this nightmarish zone, you can finally step out into the overworld and breathe the nice cold air of the surface. But wait! Who's that over there?
Come all this way again to fall to me. Would that you paid me such respects back at the house.
Yep, the name of the game. What? Did you think it would be that easy? Welcome to the final boss of the game. The last barrier between you and the big fat spoiler that I will not give you in order to force you to play the game. This fight is going to test every single skill you've acquired during the playthrough of the game and force you not only to master them, but to learn new ones. This dude does not pull any punches, and sometimes a single hit of his spear can deal a whopping 40 damage, which, if you think about it, doesn't seem like a lot until you see how quick his attacks are. Oh, who am I kidding? 40 damage is a lot by any standards. This dude will make sure you understand why his name is in the cover of the game. This is the toughest fight, if you disregard the secret one. However, with enough perseverance and strength, you will defeat him.
Got you.
Congratulations, you finally managed to defeat Hades. Now do it again.
Get your ass back here!
Yes, of course he has a phase 2. What did you expect? In this phase you see pretty much the same he did in phase 1, only stronger, smarter, and better.
I am better!
He shoots more projectiles, summons more minions, attacks way faster in a less predictable form, and he also has a big laser attack that does insane damage if you don't take cover. So you must be thinking, wow, the payoff to this fight must be very high, because this is unbelievably hard. Well, that's for you to decide. To me, the consequences of this fight and, you know, every other fight in the game are what makes Hades a subversive gaming masterpiece, if I can say that.
Boy, you speak none of this to anyone. There is no escape.
There. In my father's name.
That I love. I absolutely love.
Little disclaimer, this next session might contain some spoilers. I'll try to make it very tame so that you guys can still enjoy the game with a clear view even watching this, but that's that. This is gonna sound a tad controversial, but I think Hades' gameplay is only okay. It's fun and enjoyable, but as a roguelike nerd, I consider it to be a little bit too balanced. You can get pretty strong, sure, but I never have felt like I completely broke the game in the same way I did with other roguelikes. However, I am aware that that's a matter of preference. The gameplay is still really good on a fundamental level. What truly cements Hades as a masterpiece to me is the narrative and its progression. The way characters interact with each other, how their story goes on every run you do, be it failed or successful. That provides the player with a feeling of realization and belonging. Building bonds with these characters and seeing how their stories unravel is a huge part of the experience. Not only that, but there's also the subversion of expectations. I think it's safe to say that we as consumers of stories have been used to Greek-based stories to be about gods killing themselves in a century-old family feud. The game certainly forces you to believe that it's going in that direction. However, as you progress, you start to see the things as they truly are. The reason behind every character's behavior, their motivations, and how they can evolve past that. What started as your average Greek god family feud eventually evolves into the story of a family trying to learn how to deal with each other and to tolerate their different views and natures.
Go rest yourself if need be, though the underworld is ready when you are.
I feel like I have to appreciate Supergiant Games for coming up with a more wholesome turn to what might be one of the most toxic mythologies in humanity's history. And also Megaera's in the game. 10 out of 10. So, the question that people are probably thinking about, or not, I don't know, is what are my expectations to Hades 2? And to that I can say, I have none. I think it's an understatement to say that Hades hit all the right notes for me, and expecting Hades 2 to somehow live up to everything that Hades do would be just insanity. So I'm trying to go into this new game with a blank slate approach, trying to enjoy the game for what it will eventually be. Maybe I would like to see the gameplay be more riggable. I'm a huge fan of those like roguelikes where you can just like, man, I'm gonna break the entire game, right? Noita, Risk of Rain, that type of stuff. And I don't really feel that with Hades, as I said before. It would be cool to see how they would transition things into that type of gameplay. And I would like the game to be a little bit harder, don't get me wrong. I mean, we get extreme measures in Hades just to kind of live up to that. But at the same time, I kind of want the game to be harder on a base level at the same time while it lets me break it more. So the game is harder, but I'm stronger. That makes sense, right? Then again, for what I'm seeing, Hades 2 is absolutely living to the little expectations I have.
You gonna make me act up. You don't make me do something I'm gonna regret.
So yeah, that's all I had to say. If you guys enjoyed this video and you somehow watched all the way up to here, please consider liking and subscribing. Really helps a lot the channel grow. And yeah, that's it. I'll be staying right here for today. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all for watching. And I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Ciao.